What's good, man? We back with another episode of the Spree Speaks. Today's episode, we're gonna be talking about who really wears the pants in the relationship, in the marriage, in the household in general. Man, I know it's a lot of different opinions on who really wears the pants or who we think is really in charge, so to speak, um, in the household. You know what I'm saying? So this topic is gonna be real exotic. Again, I can only give you my opinion. I can't, I don't really know. I can't speak for nobody else. But make sure you do like, share, subscribe, uh, and comment on the channel. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it, man. Who really wears the pants? Man, look, the topic is so vast, man. Like we can debate all night on who really wears the pants. Is it the man? Is it the woman? Um, is it the person who makes the most money? Is it 50-50? Is it shared? Uh, who really has the say in the relationship, in the household? Man, look, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of in the middle. Um, Being that I got a chance to be in a household for some time where, you know, my dad worked and my mom took care of the kids. Um, my mom was really the person who we really kind of listened to the most, being that, my dad was working, often drove trucks. But shoot, my mom really was the one who, I ain't gonna say wore the pants, so to speak, but she was the one who really had the voice. You know what I'm saying? The only time we really, you know, heard my dad was when my mom got fed up, was like, go deal with them kids. And then, my dad was that voice. But other than that, he ain't really say much. You know what I'm saying? My mom really did all the saying. So in that perspective, I want to say she really was the one who was holding it down for the most part as far as the discipline and, oh man, making all the decisions and stuff like that. Um, Shout out to my clothing guy, man, Shirt Life, with my Black King hoodie. You see, it's got Black King with the King chest piece. Dope, like it. Um, but to be real, man, to really just be honest, I man, I got to say, women really, probably wear the pants more so than men do, and that's just because um, they got one saying that I've been hearing for years and years and years and years. It's been a constant, and that's happy wife, happy life. I've been hearing that shit for so long, man. It's like all I hear is happy wife, happy life. Your woman happy, you happy. And for years, to be honest, I believe the same thing everybody else believe. I'm like, shit, cool. You know what I'm saying? And so I really don't think it's much fiction to any of that. So we start talking about who wears the pants and who really has the voice or who really has the say. I think it varies on situation. In a relationship, it may be different because you're not married. So in a relationship, depending on how long you've been in that relationship, or um, work status or financial status or whatever the case may be, all those variables may go into play depending on who really excuse me, y'all, who really wears the pants. But I tell you this, I've learned over time that women have a bigger voice than what we might have thought, right? The woman's voice is much louder than it may have been in past years. I've learned and experienced anytime you have a conversation with your woman, you say, let's talk about it. We gonna compromise. We're gonna meet in the middle. We gonna figure it out together. 9 times out of 10, compromise or meet in the middle mean whatever she say. It mean y'all gonna discuss it. But if she say hell no, it's probably hell no. You know what I'm saying? If she say nah, I don't want to do it, then it's probably gonna be a no. Um, I mean that's just I've just learned that that's just the way it is, man. In some circles, you know what I'm saying? Um, that ain't necessarily nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know. Most times, you know, men from my perspective don't really get involved in the everyday day to day. You know what I mean? Like how much is the light bill? How much is this? Or you know, what did we spend at the grocery store type shit? You know what I'm saying? We more uh, as long as it's not a problem, we out of it type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it's an issue, then you know, of course, we in the mix because we don't want no problems going on with our household and so on and so forth. But as long as it ain't no issues, we much ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? We pretty laid back with it. Like, yeah, it's cool. Whatever you say. Um, if you like it, I like it. If you want to do it, cool. Type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think we gotta understand we as men we really ain't, you know what I mean? Like now I'd say some relationships the men depending on who their partner is, the man probably, you know, his voice is probably a lot louder than the woman. But that ain't a lot. Survey on that ain't very heavy. That ain't a whole bunch. The ratio ain't that high on that. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you start talking about um, who calling the shots or who's wearing the pants, that's according to how that relationship was structured from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? If that relationship started out in the beginning with a balanced voice, then it may always have a balanced voice. But if it started out in the beginning with um, the woman just saying this or that and you go along with it, or the woman controlling much of the relationship and you go along with it, you probably ain't gonna have no say moving forward because you've already relinquished that say. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think a lot of times it's hard for an independent woman who's used to doing for herself or doing things for herself or maintaining and managing things herself. It's hard for her to relinquish that authority to a man that ain't been there for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? I think it's difficult for her to be like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to you, and she hasn't seen any real qualities of a man she needs to listen to, if that makes sense. Um, it's hard for her to follow something and she don't really know the destination. If she's been in charge, if she's been controlling the destinations and all that for so long, you know, if that makes sense. You know, does that make sense? Like, I don't really see a woman giving you control or saying whatever you say, I'm gonna follow you if she don't have no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's nothing for her to follow, why would she follow? You know what I mean? Like a man who has financial stability has completely taken all the stress and strain off the woman, right? I mean, you pay all the bills. Uh, she don't have to worry about this bill, this being late, that being late. Um, she don't have to worry about whether she can go to the mall and buy something, or the kids have this or that, or you know, if a man is providing all of that and his finances are stable, his voice is probably louder than a man who's not doing that. Now, should that be the reality? Probably, probably, because he's in a position now to, I'm not gonna say control the narrative, but he's in a position to make sure his voice is heard, right? Like, if I'm paying all the bills, I'm making sure all the kids are straight, I'm making sure you straight. You have a obligation to listen to what I'm saying. That ain't saying you gotta agree with it, but you're gonna at least listen, right? Because I'm making sure you straight. So if you not with somebody who's doing that, if you're not somebody who's trying to make an effort to make sure you straight, then you probably ain't listening to me. Yeah, you 9 times out of 10, he's talking and you don't hear nothing. You've already tuned him out because you don't see the effort into what he's trying to do. Like, he hasn't cracked the surface yet on real live manhood situations. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have to have a man be in your life or whatever the case may be, but then you bring this man around your family, you know, your in-laws or whatever the case may be, and they see nothing. Like, they don't see anything of value in this man. You see it, but they don't see it. So now he's telling you to do things, or he's demanding you to do things, and your family's like, how he gonna tell you to do this and do that, and this nigga, how that go? You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard to decipher who really is in charge of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because just because he don't work don't mean he don't have a voice. Right? But just because he works doesn't mean his voice supersedes hers either. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to find that happy medium, that balance that says this is where we are, right? You're not here and I'm here, or I'm not here and you here. We here. We right here. So we have to find a happy medium that says, I don't want to eat pizza tonight. Well, I do. Yeah, but I don't want to. But I do. You know what I'm saying? Well, I tell you what. Let's eat a pizza tonight. Tomorrow we'll try steak. And you come to an agreement to have balance versus, I don't give a shit what you want. I want pizza. That's the end of it. That's not balance. That's control. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go into a relationship knowing, or willing to compromise accordingly, right? And sometimes when you feel like you compromising, you feel like you giving up power, so to speak, or you giving up your ability to be in control. And you're really not doing that. You meeting somebody in the middle of where the both of you need to be versus you trying to be here and them here. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So um, I know I have people uh, who I know. I have friends who are in relationships, and the woman called the shots. Sure, absolutely. hmm but again, I have friends in relationships where the man called the shots. You know what I'm saying? So it's situation based. It's predicated on however their relationship is set up. Um, but I think I grew up watching my dad and my mom. My mom pick up the shit. My dad worked. My mom pick up the checks, pay all the bills, do all the shopping, make sure we were good. And my dad worked, and he was okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up believing that's the process. You know what I mean? Like a man is supposed to work and pay bills and make sure the family's straight. That's a man's responsibility. So I grew up with that as the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't really see a problem with that being the way it's supposed to go. You know what I mean? If you got a family, you got a wife and kids and stuff. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Um, but I don't think just because that's the process that that means she has more say or you have more say than her. Just because you the breadwinner don't make you the only person with a voice. Just because you make more money, that don't mean your voice has more weight than mine. You know what I mean? So um, we got to get into the and look. I'm gonna just tell you, men and women in 20 in the 2000 in the 2020,000 in the 2023 24 22 23 24 um, versus the 70s 80s, it's not the same. It's just not the same. The way things are portrayed out and viewed is not the same. It's completely different. And so knowing that and understanding that it's different from the jump, you already ahead of the curve, right? Um, I think anytime that a man is with a woman who he generally wants to be with and genuinely loves, he respects her voice because that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? He respects her voice because he appreciates the fact that she respects his, and that's the balance, right? It's not I'm with you, but you gonna do what I say. That ain't that ain't balance, and that's definitely not respect. That's control. You know what I mean? And when you start talking about control, control can cause so many different problems because control is something that once you relinquish it, it's hard to get back. Once you let go of whatever level of control you may have thought you had, once it's gone, you can't get that back. That's over with. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So um, having a situation where you have balance is vital, critical, solely because you got to understand the days where only men worked and took care of the family. That shit over with. That don't even happen. I don't even think that's real. I don't even think that's reality now. You know what I'm saying? I think unless you got you have an amazing job where you're able to sustain both incomes, maybe, but 9 times out of 10, no, both people work. You know what I'm saying? Or at least one. You know what I mean? But you find out that when both parties work, when the woman and the man works, now you start coming to mine and yours, right? There's no ours. It's mine and yours. Even though we may say ours, That may be a term, to use, but there's always going to be mine and yours, because you went to work 40 hours or how many hours and you made X amount of dollars. He went to work 40 hours, he made X amount of dollars. Neither one of you, neither one of you are going to relinquish those monies, right? Unless unless both people have agreed said monies are going for XYZ. So now you look at a situation where two people who both work, who both make money, both have a say, right? Or now you come to a situation, let's say now she doesn't work. You done made so much money, you say, you know what, I don't want you to work. I want you to take care of the kids, just make sure the house cool. Let me work. I don't want you to work. Well, two things happen with that. Though that may sound really cool, right? And a lot of women may be like, oh, yes, my man, my husband don't want me to work. You know what I'm saying? My dude don't want me to work. I'm cool. I just chill. Well, maybe, but maybe not. Because now, here we go, you don't work. So all the money and all the income is from him. So now here it is. He may not have a problem with you going to HEB, dropping 250 on groceries, right? He may not have a problem with you going to Best Buy and grabbing a new television. But then the minute you try to go into Bath and Body Works or Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Saks Fifth Avenue or whatever and spend 1,000, now there's a conversation. Hey, what you going buying $1,000 purse for? Right? So now here you are explaining why you feel like it was okay for you to buy $1,000 purse. But here he is saying, hey man, no, you don't make the money. I do. So now who wears the pants? Now where's the balance? See, there's pros and cons on both sides. Because guess what? Let's switch it. Let's say he get hurt on the job. Now you work. He can't work, right? Now you are responsible for all the income, all the bills, the whole nine, right? So now society says, man, this ain't how it go. The man's supposed to be the breadwinner, not the woman, right? So now we switch roles. So now here it is. He want to go and buy a pair of Nikes, pair of J's or whatever. $200. Boom. Now here you go. Hey, did you really need those? You didn't need those. You can't just now you just throwing away money. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one working. I'm paying all these bills, and you taking the money go buying that. Now, mind you, had he still been working, he would not have said to you, "Hey, I'm going to buy these J's." He'd have just bought them. You wouldn't have had no dialogue because he was working. Same with the purse. Had you still been working, you probably wouldn't have asked his permission to buy this $1,000 purse. You probably would have just bought it. And then he probably wouldn't have said nothing because, again, even though you technically it should be ours, it's not ours. It's yours and it's his. Because see, ours, let's be clear. Ours means what? Ours. It means no matter how much money it is, no matter how I feel about it, no matter what you say or what I say, it's ours together. So if it's ours and I feel like I want the $1,000 bag, I feel like I should be able to purchase the bag without having to hear you say, "Why did you buy that bag?" If it's ours, if it's ours, I should be able to buy the shoes without hearing you say, "Did you really need them shoes?" But the problem is, it's not ours. That's the reality, right? So now you go into when there's one income, generally, generally, not always, whoever has the income has the say. Now, should that be the case? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It shouldn't be the case. But it is the case. More oftentimes than not, that's the case. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of other variables that go into it other than just, I don't want you to buy this or I don't want you to buy that. Don't do this, don't do that. There's more to it than that. However, the same thing it applies when it comes to who decides who can buy what. Who decides that? Who makes up that decision to say it's okay for you to buy this or it's okay for you to buy that? Who comes up to that decision? Probably the person with the money, right? In a relationship, not a when a relationship where people have been together for an extensive period of time or marriage, there's one thing that I can say that always happens in a marriage. Like most marriages, you don't make major purchases without speaking to the spouse, right? Everybody knows that. Like you don't go and buy a car unless you've had a conversation. You guys have had a conversation. You know what I mean? You wouldn't just drive to the dealership and be like, "Man, I don't give a shit what my wife say. I want that." Right? Or whatever my husband, it don't matter. He don't have no say. I want this. That don't happen in a marriage. What shouldn't happen in or partnership. There should be a conversation that says, "Hey, let's sit down. Let's figure out the best route. You need a car. Okay, let's figure out the best way to go to get you the car together versus you trying to figure it out and you just doing something on your own and you just that's normally not going to be the best route, right? So when you do, that's called ours together. That's ours. That's not yours. That's not mine. That's ours. But most of the time, you have to have income, valuable income. So as important as we know money is, money ain't everything. Can we agree that money's not everything? However, it is vital to survival that you have it because you need it to pay stuff, right? You got to pay bills, car note, insurance, phone bills, light bills, mortgage, kids, college. You got to have it to pay for stuff, okay? Now, with that being said, it's easier when there are two sources versus one. It's easier when both parties who are in this relationship work because now there's not a whole lot of strain on one person. We share it. So everything's not on your shoulders, everything's not on my shoulders. We share it. You know what I mean? Other than the only time you're gonna hear, and I'm just being honest. If a man tells a woman, "I don't want you to work. You don't have to do nothing. I got it." That brother got a damn good job that makes a lot of money, and he can stand. financially for his wife not to work. Yeah. Other than that, you're not gonna hear that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna hear that. I mean, let's talk about reality. We're not talking about athletes and entertainers and people who've gotten people that left for money and they filthy rich. We talking about reality, right? In this economy, you need two household incomes to be comfortable. One, 9 times out of 10, ain't gonna do it if you just working one job. So if you have a husband or a wife who says, "Don't work, I got it," they well off. They money loan is 610. They're in great shape. They can afford to withstand all the bills themselves. But mind you, again, if that happens, you best believe there's gonna be somebody looking at what you buy, purchase. There's gonna be somebody monitoring what you spending out of this money that you don't add or contribute to. On my mama, there's gonna be something or somebody that's gonna be like, man, you spend how much? Why? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of the fact that you'll never fully be able to determine who's the boss solely based on relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or feelings. That ain't gonna never tell you who's the boss. I don't care what you say. You feel how you want to feel. That's never gonna say, never. You never gonna be able to say, well, I love her, she loved me, so I'm gonna let her call the shots. That ain't reality. That's not reality. It ain't reality. If you can't walk into a mall and freely purchase what you want to purchase without somebody having an issue with it, it ain't your money. I'm just keeping it 100. It ain't your money. You know what I'm saying? So understand the balance, understand the realities um, of who called the shots, who makes the moves, um, and who has to say. You know what I mean? Like control. I never was a fan of control. I never was a big fan of somebody trying to control uh, how another person thinks or behaves. You know what I mean? Like I never been a fan of that. But it happens. It happens. You know what I'm saying? So um, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Spree Speaks. As always, I appreciate the viewers. I appreciate the comments, the likes, and I most certainly appreciate the subscriptions. Always, always, always like, share, comment, and you know, get your views up, man. I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. Till next time, peace.